Well, hello. Today I thought I'd bring you something a little different. I used to bake biscotti for a little side business. I called it Mama Shirley's Biscotti, and I sold my biscotti on Etsy and had all kind of different flavors, and people absolutely loved it. So while I was home in California, I thought I would bake a batch of, I think, the two Aloha. That's the name that I gave this recipe that I kind of thought of in my head while I was over in Hawaii one time, one of the trips that I took over there. And it includes, let me just show you, fresh pineapple that I air fried, macadamia nuts, yummy, yummy, and this coconut that I'm going to put in the oven right now and toast. I use a basic recipe that I have kind of perfected through the years for all of my biscotti. When I think of different recipes, let's say the pumpkin spice during the fall, because the pumpkin is a little bit more moist, I might have to add a little bit more flour. But I'll show you the base that I use and kind of take you through some of the steps. I do want to say that one of the things I'm really particular about, having worked in food service in different capacities, is that the hair is up. I don't necessarily, when I'm baking in my own kitchen, I don't, put a hairnet on, but I definitely always have it up. And then I must wash my hands like 50 times, especially doing biscotti, because there is a process where when you make the loaves, and you'll see this, you have to pat it down. And I tried doing it with gloves before, and it just doesn't work. So I do wash my hands over and over and over, because that's just good practice when working with food. It is important that you bring your butter and your eggs to room temperature. Cream the butter with the sugar, then sift all of your dry ingredients like the flour, salt, and baking powder. Add your eggs to the butter and sugar one at a time, and just make sure that they're all blended in really well. Slowly mix your dry ingredients to the butter, sugar, and egg mixture. I always mix the pineapple and macadamia nuts to make sure that they don't stick together. These are such precious ingredients. Then slowly blend the macadamia nuts and the pineapple into the batter. Do your final blending. Here's the toasted coconut. Next, I put the batter onto the cookie sheets, and then I start to form a perfect loaf, patting it down, making sure that I smooth it out. I go over to the sink, I wet my hands, and I do this a couple times so that the loaves are nice and smooth and they bake to where they don't have any bumps or lumps on them. So they should look just like this. Set the timer for 15 minutes. I put one loaf on the top rack, then the bottom rack. After that, I do another 15 minutes, but I switch racks so that they're beautiful golden brown. Then it's going to be time to cut the biscotti, because this is where you're going to put them on a cookie sheet and bake them the second time, which is what biscotti is, right? It's a twice baked cookie. I don't measure the biscotti. I've been doing this so long, they pretty much end up the same size every time. I then go ahead and put them on the cookie sheet, just a little bit of room in between them, because once you get them in the oven and bake them, this time you're gonna bake these for like 8 minutes, and then once they're done, the initial 8 minutes, I take them out of the oven, and then I flip them over because I want them to be perfectly baked, and I bake them for another 8 minutes. And perfecto, look at these. Once the biscottis have cooled completely, which is about 30 minutes, you're gonna wanna melt your chocolate. Now, I use an actual candy melter. It works best. And once the chocolate is nice and melted, no lumps in it whatsoever, I add just a little bit of olive oil. It doesn't
change the taste of the chocolate at all. It just makes it so much smoother. Look at this. Ooh, that's a nice, smooth white chocolate. Because you're going to want to either dip them in like this biscotti. Some people like to just dip one side, and some people like to drizzle them. Maybe get a little spoon or a knife and just drizzle the top of the biscotti. I have a system that I do, and I just find that it makes it so much quicker. I literally put all of my biscottis back to back, almost like in a loaf form again. And then I take my white chocolate and I just slather it all over the biscotti. That is like my signature biscotti. When you get a biscotti from Mama Shirley, it's going to have all of the white chocolate on the full side of the biscotti. And then I go and put whatever sprinkles, or in this case, these Addicted to Aloha has toasted coconut, which is so yummy. And then you just let them sit, and look at this. Voila! They're so yummy.